Hi Aries, I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for the beginning of August. So I'm not going to be focusing specifically on love in this reading, just because I did a very long love reading a few days ago. If you could find it posted for the whole month of August, having to do with singles, couples, and complicated. So, these might resonate with you as a relationship read or having to do with money, any sort of family situation, whatever it is. But Aries, I have to tell you, I feel like every part of your life is being touched right now. And I suppose we could say that about everyone, right? But just the way the energies are sitting, when I look at the chart of the archetype for Aries, I'm like, they're feeling it in their relationship, in their job, in taking care of themselves, everything, right? And I just feel a lot of you are... you have a lot going on. You have a lot going on. So the focus of your life right now, right, for the month really is the fifth house, which is where the Sun and Mercury are hanging out. And that's all about romance, love affairs, the idea of children. So, right, it has to do with fertility, creativity, entrepreneurial efforts, what you love to do because you love to do it, how you express yourself, all of that. And with a Leo in there, you're being very, Leo is in the house of Leo, right? So, Leo, the energy of the fifth house is there. So it's very, very powerful for you, right? And so we have the Venus in Virgo until the 16th, then it moves into Libra. But for this week, you have this energy in this Venus energy in your sixth house with Mars. So there's this energy of sixth house is about your day-to-day experience in all parts of your life, your work environment, who you work with, who you work for, your health, mental, physical, emotional, your pets, just what you do in your day-to-day as you engage with people is very much an energy of to be of service, right? It's also the energy of problem solving. Right. So with Virgo and with Mars and Venus in there in Virgo, you have your cap on in the house of Virgo to solve problems when it comes to trying to balance things out in relationship, having to do with your health, having to do with a situation going on at work. Really trying to maintain balance is going to be very strong for you there. And to that point, we all have Mars and Venus in Virgo right now. All of us, just not all in the same house. Not all, you have it in the sixth house. Other people have it in other houses, right? Taurus has it in the fifth, right? So it's going to manifest different for each of us. But it's important to understand the shadow manifestation of Venus. I feel like I'm being called to say this week. Not only because you might be feeling it, so it's always important to recognize these things when they show up in us, because of course none of us can stay in our enlightened manifestation state all the time. We're human beings, right? But it's also good to understand how other people might end up showing up in your life and just trying to figure that out, right? Because Venus is beautiful. She's very focused on things being equitable and loving and fair in money and relationship, all of that. Beautiful. But when she's in her shadow manifestation, even within us, she has a very hard time dealing with people and situations that don't measure up to her ideal. And that can end up pushing you to want to make these changes, because the dissatisfaction and the disappointment and the disillusionment of something can easily push you to a point where you're like, I need to change this. I can't deal with this anymore. And the fact that you have it in the sixth house, some of you may be feeling very motivated to once and for all make changes in your health routine, but also some of you make changes in your job, or even something having to do with your pets, okay? A second way that this could show up is she doesn't like competition. So especially this being in the sixth house of your work environment, if you're vibing that there's a lot of competition in that space, having to do with something that makes you feel comfortable in your day-to-day, you can't not see that. So you have to be careful of not falling into this energy where you feel like you need to seduce a situation or be deceitful or any other strategy to secure what it is that you want, some sort of outcome that you have your eye on, or you being super aware that you might be dealing with this energy also in your sixth house, right? So you want to be very careful there of, somebody being very deceitful, not on the up and up, having to do with all of these energies in the sixth house. Because when Venus is running in her shadow self, she makes a mess. She just does. She's beautiful when she's in, like most of us, right? I mean, most energies are great when they're great, but when they're not, it could be messy. But Venus is like a wicked vixen, right? If she's running in her shadow space. And the thing is, in Virgo, it's very critical like looking at things very critically. And Mars is that warrior planet. So it's like somebody being like, I can't not see this problem. I'm going to go after whatever I have to. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get whatever I have my eye on. So you want to be careful of that. And also, Venus can also serve to temper any sort of imbalance, right? To a certain extent, this could be very painful. So you want to think about if you are in any kind of situation that's impacting you in a way that's affecting your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, affecting your day-to-day work environment. If there's something that you can't not see, where you might be really struggling with something having to do with your health. You might be really struggling with, a lot of you might be dealing with some sort of like depression, anxiety, anything like that, because Neptune in Pisces is sitting across the wheel from you, and Neptune rules disease, things that we can't really see, or any kind of dysfunction that we can't really see, having to do with the subconscious mind. So don't be surprised if you're experiencing like that. But Mars comes in and is like, well, if you're not feeling good about this situation, I need to come in and pull a tower moment and really work on taking that thing away from you that's making you feel this way, whatever it is. And so in that way, it can show up as being kind of painful. Maybe if you're dealing with any kind of addiction, very hard to get past. If you're dealing with any sort of situation going on with your health where you have to make a grand sweeping change, or some sort of situation going on with your work that's really toxic that you can't not see anymore, and it's pushing you to make a change, right? So these are the different ways that this can end up showing up, and I think it's important for us to all understand that. Now, getting into this, kicking it off very appropriately so, we have the Knight of Swords energy, which is about expect the unexpected. Very unpredictable energy. Now, some of you might be dealing with a person like this, who's very determined, who's very driven, who's very forthright. This is what I want. This is what I believe in, blah, 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 right? But at the end of the day, this is a person who's like a lot of hot air, but underneath it, they're creating drama because they're bored in their life. And they create all this drama, and they don't take any responsibility for reconciling the situation. And it's like you're left standing there like, what the hell just happened, right? Some of you might be dealing with that. Others of you, it's like truths are coming out, right? All of a sudden, it's like these underlying conflicts all of a sudden are being put out on the table. Well, I really feel like this, and this is what's really going on. And depending on your situation, the exposing of this underlying conflict or the truths or whatever's going on, for some of you, it's going to be very liberating. It's going to be like, oh, I knew that was going on. Now, thank goodness, at least I know it's not in my mind, right? I knew that was going on. Others of you are like, cool. They're saying that this is how they really feel. What am I supposed to do with that? The only thing is, like, don't make a decision now. If you could avoid making a big decision, honestly, until the middle of the month, that would probably be better. Once Venus moves into Libra, it's just a little more balance in that energy, and that's going to be happening on the 16th. But you can't not see that the reality that you're living, either in that relationship, that family situation, that job, is not in alignment with what it is that you really want for yourself. And that lack of alignment is not going to go anywhere, but you can't, you're recognizing, Aries, that you're doing the best you know how in whatever situation it is. You are, in your mind, right? Right, because it's coming from your energy. And you are identifying that the reason that there is this discord is because of a situation that you can't control. Now, whether that's another person, you can't mitigate their stuff, whether it's an external situation, maybe the job market is really dry right now in that area that you're in, or whatever the case is, you can't fix it. So really the energy here is about, okay, deal with whatever anger, disappointment, disillusionment, tension, whatever, with grace, and just kind of step away from it for a minute. It's a minor arcana. Leave it alone, as this is a messy energy that you're not going to be able to get in front of. So let things settle up a little bit. And we have the Queen of Coins energy. And I like this. This is Sagittarius and Capricorn energy. This is you taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, taking care of your emotions, your finances. Very nice energy, the Queen of Coins. Now, for some of you, there could be, all of this could be going on, this very shocking energy, feeling like there's this clash of what it is that you want, the reality that you're living. within your marriage, within money, within the reality that maybe somebody is not as reliable and supportive or as affectionate or something like that that you would really like, that you know is necessary for there to be some sort of balance had here. For some of you, you may be realizing that money is an issue, right? Fertility might be an issue. Your sex life might be an issue within, if you're resonating with this as a relationship. Like there's something that's just not right. And it's you can't not see it anymore. There's got to be this, there is definitely this change. And we have the sun. So the sun is about having all the tools in your toolbox that you need to make a situation work. Now, in numerology, this rules the 5th house, which is where the sun and Mercury are right now. So there's got to be a lot of focus on communication about, for some of you, children. What's going on with your children? Do you want to have kids? Others of you, there's got to be a lot of conversation going on about your creativity, something that you want to launch. Others of you, lots of focus and communication focused on romance, love affairs, and all of that, right? But you need to work something out in any of these areas, right? And again, now the sun in numerology is the wheel of fortune, which is about you reaching a turning point right now. And something very fated is happening. You feel the change, there's no question. So for some of you, this could indicate somebody coming back from the past and you're trying to work it out with them. Some of you are going to resonate with it like that. Others of you are going to be having open conversations about what's been going on up to this point in order to try to fix something. Right, because there's definitely, see, the thing is with Saturn in Aquarius and with Jupiter retrograde sitting in your 11th house of hopes and wishes, it's also your groups. It's where your friends hang out, the groups that you're involved in, the element of social awareness, your humanitarian energy. That's all 11th house stuff, right? So we have Saturn, right, in Aquarius there, and we have Jupiter. So there's a lot of need, there's a deep need to right now to look at what is not working and what needs to be changed in order for you to expand. And these are conversations and ideas that can't be ignored. And I feel like it's going to be very heightened for you this week, but this is going to be going on until the end of the year. You can't not, like, but the thing is, like, there's this pivotal turning point. You have everything that you need to make something work, but you also recognize that you can't do it by yourself. Somebody's got to be in this with you. So what I like here is we have the 6 of Wands. 6 of Wands is about deserved success, great energy if you've been struggling lately. Certainly if there's anything going on with work, cool, right? Acknowledgement there. This has to do with relationship feelings being shared, well received, really good communication. That ends up bringing you guys to a space where you get each other a lot more, right? So there ends up being a deepening connection. But really, this could have to do with any part of your life, having to do with like love, work, property, even some sort of educational pursuit. So some sort of good news, good conversation happening here. So this is Jupiter and Leo energy. But even though this good thing is going to be coming in, which is nice, you're still going to be feeling you need to figure something out, right? Jupiter and Capricorn energy, you're negotiating. So you might be negotiating with somebody, or you might be negotiating with yourself, but there needs to be a decision made regarding, there are two situations, so there are two circumstances that are in front of you. Which path are you going to take? And the way to answer that question is, what do you feel the greatest sense of lack in? So like, for example, let's say you're in a relationship and you've been knowing that it hasn't been working out. You know it. You know you've reached a point where you can't not see that anymore. So you're going to be in this space where you're going to need to decide, should I take the chance in staying in this and trying to make it work, or should I go on a different path? What am I going to be at the end of the day, thinking down the line? Would I regret staying? Or am I willing to lose whatever I'm in? I mean, and these are big questions, right? But it really is about you needing to decide which pentacle to put down. What should you do? Which job should you take? So there's good communication here, but at the end of it, you're sitting there going, all right, well, so how do I really feel about this? What do I really want? Because there are arguments here, Saturn and Leo. battle of the wills, not agreeing. Everyone has their own opinion. Everyone's yelling, right? There's yelling. And there might even be some sort of thing that, okay, this is going to be for a select few of you, but if you're signing something, say a contract for a house, an agreement for a project, paperwork for a new job, right? Anything like that, and you read the fine print, you might realize that something is a little off with it. So just pay very close attention to signing any documents right now. Or if you do, just make sure you're very much reading the fine print. And it doesn't have to be a big deal, guys. It's just like, oh, hey, this is off, and you bringing it to their attention, right? It could just simply be that. But for others of you, this can manifest certainly as a necessary argument. But everybody's ego is showing up here as well. We have the Ace of Cups clarifying that, which is a new beginning here, right? Now, this is new. So if this is an existing relationship, this argument and confusion, this positive conversation, even though you're still feeling this tension and this confusion, this can end up manifesting as strong love and support within the relationship, but as a result of communication. For others of you, this is ending up as getting pregnant. Some of you leaving a situation and falling in love. Others of you starting a new job. Whatever it is this idea of growth, though, that's involved with it and moving to this next space. Even if you're leaving a situation, having the Ace of Cups tells me that whatever you're deciding, it's going to go in your favor, because you're being very mindful of one thing right now, Aries. What you need to feel grounded, rooted, safe, and secure in your life in a way that matters to you. And there's an element of emotional honesty. And this doesn't only have to do with money. This is just generally like, what do you need to feel good in your life? In that job, what kind of work should you be doing? What do you want from that relationship? But being really like, I love the Queen of Cups. And not only because it's like, obviously cups are its own emotional energy. It's a high EQ energy, right? Emotional intelligence, not afraid of looking at what it is that you need and what's needed to make a situation work. Clarifying that, we have the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands is really about being very fired up in your ambitions right now, for sure. And this is events, proposals, things coming in where things are sped up, blocks are being lifted, decisions coming in, offers being made. Nice, 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 right? You might also be dealing with like a very fiery energy, They could come off as being, might vibe them as being a little impatient. Somebody who like makes snap judgments about things and people based on like first impressions without really thinking things through. And be very charismatic, very talkative partner, very creative, very innovative at the same time. You might be dealing with somebody like that as well in this negotiation, perhaps like having to do with a business venture. But then we have the Hierophant energy, right? So yeah, straight up the Hierophant is a marriage energy and a committed partnership, but it's also about you progressing forward in work or making those decisions or kind of settling in your mind like a direction that you want to go in. So it's nice in that way, for sure. For some of you, this can be you making the decision to expand your property, because this is definitely an energy of expansion. As in numerology, this is the Temperance energy, which is a Sagittarius energy, which is ruled by Jupiter, which is all about expansion. But expectations and conforming to something needs to be discussed, Aries. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to sit down and have a conversation about, what do I expect? What do I need? But you have to be open to that with somebody else as well, because there's this need for balance. Strength energy, Leo, right? Especially for those of you who feel like you feel kind of tested in anything, having to do any kind of so for example, if your relationship, your intimate relationship, your friendship, your family connection has been tested, things can get better here, but you have to figure out how to find balance. And you can't talk around the elephant in the room. There's got to be complete open honesty. And I would really, energetically, just knowing what's going on right now with Venus in Virgo, with Mars, having the conversation now before the 16th is going to be a lot easier for you than after that. Because on the 16th, Libra moves into, Virgo moves in, Venus moves into Libra. And Libra is an energy that doesn't like confrontation. Just doesn't. Even though you guys typically, your archetype doesn't mind confrontation, your fire sign, your Aries, you're like, I'll sit down and talk about it. I'll, voice what I feel. You're going to be surprised though. It's going to feel, especially if it has to do with anything relating to relationship, marriage, contracts, business partners, anything like that, you're going to feel not as comfortable having confrontation from the 16th through September 10th. So if you feel like you need to have a conversation, try your very best to get your thoughts together and everything now, having to do with that relationship, that family situation, whatever it is. It might even be tensions having to do with like a career or money situation because of somebody's ego, but it can be resolved again through empathy. Right? Because you might be dealing with somebody, or you might be struggling with this, where very strong opinions are getting in the way of the mind opening up and looking at things differently. So, we have to know ourselves. We also have to be able to recognize this in other people so we can really best figure out how to navigate a situation. So let's pull a couple of oracles. We have sexual arts, tune out distractions, and regeneration. Okay. So when we're talking about sexual arts in this particular deck, it's not only about sex, right? Obviously not everybody is even in that space. When we're talking about the art of sex, what is that? It's the ability to be open and vulnerable and be open to the cycles of things and being open to the idea of allowing things to end in order for things to be rebirthed, right? It's a very cyclical scorpionic energy where there's got to be this transformation. But you guys have to put the energy in. Now, for some of you, obviously, you could resonate as maybe being a little more creative in the bedroom, if that's something that's, like an overly simplistic, overly direct application, but it may resonate with some of you like that. But it really is about allowing yourself to be vulnerable, because that's the tricky part, right? Being vulnerable to a situation. We have to allow that, and even in our work, right? And in friendships, it's giving our energy so much so in a situation that we allow ourselves and open ourselves up to the potential of being hurt, of being disappointed, but it's taking that chance and tuning out distractions like the naysayers, and you can't do that, and all of that. And even within your own head, try to quiet that down. Try to quiet the idea down that you're probably experiencing in your subconscious, in your head, and that you're not telling anybody about, man, but if I stay in this, if I do this, if I take this on, I feel like I might be sacrificing what I want, need, and desire in my life, and I don't know if I'm willing to do that. And some of you may be in that space because you just want to heal any of the past issues that have been going on in your life right now, right? Chiron retrograde until the end of December in your first house of self, your identity, your approach to life, your attitude. There's so much healing, and there's a lot of reflecting back on the past and how maybe you let people get away with stuff, how maybe you were too domineering, whatever it is. There's so much healing going on, but sometimes we have to tune out the distractions of our own mind in order to allow the regeneration. So really, between sexual arts and regeneration, there's a lot of transformation that's going on here. The need to release a way of doing something before so that something new can come in. It seems like that's really what you're being asked to do right now. Okay. Yeah. So my eyes went straight to the tune out distractions and the Four of Pentacles. Like, tune out the fear of not having, tune out the fear of security, of feeling like you need to protect yourself. Because if you're too entrenched in that, then you're not going to put yourself out there to take that chance in that relationship, in that job, to go after whatever it is that you want. And then we have regeneration being clarified by regeneration. Right? This is a scorpionic energy. So some of you literally might be moving. Others of you are making the decision to you know, end a relationship right now, at least as it was. Pull it back a little bit. If you guys are going to get back together and find your way back together, in that friendship, in that intimate connection, whatever it is, if it's meant to happen, it will. But there seems to be this space needed for you guys to work on yourselves if you're going to find yourselves later on. If this has to do with a career, this can indicate a possible ending of either a business connection or an avenue of money. And even though things might be tough right now, be patient, like something else is coming, right? Something else is coming. There's sort of like a changing of the guard there. It does seem like that. When it comes to the regeneration idea and you allowing yourself to be vulnerable, I feel like you're really not talking to anybody about it, and that's okay. Some sort of secret. You're holding a secret. There's some sort of secret that's going on. What's the secret? Page of Cups. Okay. Listen. So some of you Aries have to hear about this, because the sexual art's being clarified by the High Priestess, by the Page of Cups. Some of you may be secretly involved in some sort of secret love affair right now. And you need to settle a conflict either within yourself or with somebody else, or having to do with the situation. So kind of towards the end of the video here, but I am getting that some of you may be in a situation where you're either thinking about entertaining another energy, or a person that you're with is thinking about that. It's going to resonate with some of you. But at the same time, you're very focused on, you're trying to not pay attention to the fact, like, you know, if you stay involved in this, you're probably going to end up compromising your security and what is in your life to make you feel stable and secure. So some of you may be in a space of looking at, maybe you need to end something here. Learning your lesson. Learning your lesson. Moving away from something. The world is like, okay, lesson learned. That's got to end. And I have to go in another direction because I've learned my lesson here. So maybe some of you had this is a past lesson that you need to learn. And you want to fix something here. So that's going to resonate with some of you. I'm feeling a very relationship-based connection, obviously, to this. But some of you can also experience this, obviously, in a business connection, where you very strong desire to make the change, thinking things, not really communicating it, maybe going after another job, and then needing to balance out where you are versus where you want to go, because you're very there is this concern about your security and your foundation, but there's this need to regenerate yourself and go in a different direction. You can't not see it with the World card. All right, my friends, that is what I have. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.